Hello guys, welcome back to Pedestrian. I didn't post for a while, but I promise you guys that I will start being more disciplined these days and I will make more content that will be relevant to everyone learning how to build things with code, to everyone who is diving into this industry and wants to thrive and flourish. Well, I made this video and I'm making this video for everyone who is teaching himself software development and coding in general. My message is dedicated to self-taught developers. And why? Because I'm a self-taught developer as well. And I decided to create this channel for this reason. I wanted to share knowledge with people who learn software engineering and coding, people who wants to make it as a self-taught developer. And I created this channel, as I said, to share knowledge with you and with things I'm learning in my jobs, with things I'm learning in my free time side project. And yes, I hope I can succeed doing at least some. Yeah, I made just a few videos, but I hope these videos send some useful information to you. So getting back to our topic, so my message is to let self-taught developers motivate themselves, right? Because I know it's really hard journey for you and really hard journey for us. Okay, going to include myself too because I'm self-taught, and I just want to say, forget all your bad thoughts and all your worries you have in your mind, right? And just keep moving forward to achieve what you want to see your life in the future, right? So achieve the things you want to accomplish and just go on. So it doesn't matter what you've got today, what was your day, uh, doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter. Just learn, keep growing, and build things with code. So, I mean, it's hard sometimes to keep up this momentum and keep up the good attitude and good energy. As self-taught developers, it's really hard to find a job nowadays because most people are trying to convince us in this industry that you need a degree, you need to go to a boot camp in order to get a job, but that's not true. I'm a self-taught and I could get 5 jobs, starting with an internship. uh, then I get an offer from the company where I was interning at. Then I got a new job. After this, 3 more jobs. And it doesn't mean life it's difficult for a self-taught developer, but it's all about maintaining good energy and good attitude. I was able to keep that momentum, but sometimes I failed. Sometimes I could get, I could be negative, right? So I'm a human being, so, and it's normal, but I always remind myself that the journey I'm going through is hard, it's challenging, but it's not impossible to don't get a job. So I keep on learning, and especially I started learning in 2019. So, and 2019 was quarantine time, the lockdown, COVID-19. So it was about 2 years, maybe. So it's about 2 years. So I take advantage of this time to learn and build project. Uh, I've never complete a project, just building something, let's say 70% of that project and switch to another one, right? So, because I just wanted to to get my hands dirty with code. Sometimes I can get bored of a project and switch to a new one and so on. So it doesn't matter. But for me, I just wanted to learn and get my hands dirty with code, get to know new concepts in programming, trying to fill my gaps I have in some programming concepts, in some programming languages, and I keep moving on. So until I find, an internship, and from this company I got an offer. So I didn't pay any cent to follow, a tutorial, Coursera, EDX, or anywhere else. I just follow YouTube. So I just found some courses there from channels that I really admire: Traversing Media, Freecode Camp, The New Boston, uh, and more. So, and those channels helped me to move, my learning to the next level. And some of them inspired me to make a YouTube channel as yeah, like now, and make videos and tutorials in purpose to share knowledge with others, and yeah, and just seek help. So if I had, a gap in understanding a concept, maybe someone can leave a comment, in the box, and try to explain that to me if I'm wrong or something like that. So that was the purpose, right? And then I switched to make content, but I'm still waiting for anyone who can correct me and explain to me great concept. But that's one of the purposes, right? So guys, don't give up, please. It's a really hard journey, but you're gonna make it. So don't listen to the computer science students who always say, you can't get a job. So I just want to share a story with you. I remember when I was applying for some jobs, I was invited for an interview, and the person who interviewed me was a tech guy, right? So I mean, the first meeting was uh, just screening, introductory meeting. So who talks about my background, my professional industry, and everything, right? And then then he asked me a question. I noticed in your resume you didn't go to a master degree in computer science. You are graduated from college, of course, but you didn't study computer science. You studied something else. I said, yes, I came from a geology background and GIS background. And then he told me, well, how did you learn and how did you make it as a self-taught developer? I said, well, I was learning in my free time, summertime. I could find time to learn, and plus, the quarantine where I have a lot of time to do a lot of things. So I took advantage of this time to learn and build projects, mini projects. And he said to me, well, this is good, but we need someone who has a computer science degree, someone who studies software engineering in college, and better to that person have, a master, something like this, in order to proceed with that in this job. And that was a bit, painful to me, because especially that happens in my first, I mean, after this 2 years of learning, and after my yes, before I get into that internship, that, was a bit painful to me, as I'm still in my journey learning. And I said, well, let's apply for a job. I've got nothing to lose, even I feel I'm not ready enough to do that. But I always say to myself, start before you're ready, you know? And I applied for this job, and I didn't regret applying for this job, but I'm so happy and grateful for this, because from that time I know that there are people who doesn't respect self-taught developers just because they don't study computer science in college. And for them, they think of themselves like, well, we are just getting into this, and we are not aware of this domain. We are like an idiot in the domain, right? Why? Because we don't have a CS degree, we don't know the basics of programming, we don't know algorithms, we don't know data structures, and they could judge you just because you you don't have these things, in your vocab. But it doesn't mean that self-taught developer doesn't have this. Self-taught developer can teach himself data structures and algorithms, can teach himself or herself everything related, to the basics of programming, right? So it's not it's not something that comes overnight, but it takes time, of course. But it's not only applicable to CS students, right? So from that interview, to be honest, it was a bit painful, but after a few days, so I try to get back to my momentum and keep on the positive attitude. So I don't let that opinion judge my journey and my future, and whether I would become a self-taught developer as a self-taught developer or not, whether I would get a job or not. But I didn't care about that. So I didn't let that opinion of that person uh, hold me back to go after the goals that I want to achieve. So I keep moving forward, right? I keep on learning new things. I keep on building many projects until I make it after that, and I get, an internship that was a good opportunity for me to get an offer from the company and start working there as a software engineer. So that being said, guys, so don't worry, don't have worries in mind. Worries will steal your joy as a self-taught developer. So just work. Just wake up in the morning, exercise, eat your breakfast, and start, learning and building things with code. When it comes to learning, it doesn't matter. So everyone has its own learning style. For me, I prefer learn by doing. I prefer building things with code as I learn a new technology. For example, let's say you want to learn Django, you want to learn Next.js. So yeah, I try to go to YouTube, take, just a short overview about the technology, what is useful, what it does, uh, and the pros and cons of this technology, right? In general, the advantages, and yeah, a video that could take maybe 3 to 5 minutes, right? And then I go to the official documentation. So I didn't try to go line by line this documentation, but I put in front of me that documentation as a reference, right? And I use it like a dictionary for someone who wants to learn a new verbal language, right? But documentation, official documentation, is like a reference to me. It's like a place where I can get back to it from time to time if I don't understand something. So here I put this in front of me, and then I choose something to build. Very simple thing to build. So it can be a to-do app, it can be a weather app, it can be anything. So the purpose of building this is just learning this technology and this getting your hands dirty with that. So yeah, that's it. So I took, a mini project like a to-do app, for example, and I start, building it. So how? Maybe you are asking me, well, how did you? Yes, of course. So the first thing you start, you go to the official documentation, or maybe you will go to a blog post. Doesn't matter. But for me, I go to the official documentation. I see the first steps. So how to set up, for example, a Django project, Next.js project. I did this, and then I get into the topic. So how to, let's say, create a user interface, how to create this, how to create that. So I keep on searching, in documentation. Maybe I find myself sometimes I'm jumping, I'm not following the documentation step by step. That doesn't matter. So you can do things on your own pace. So for me, I want to create an endpoint in Next.js, so, or sorry, I want to create service, for example, in Next.js. So I go immediately to services, I search for them, and I try to understand how they work, and apply them. If I want to create a model in Django, I do the same as well. So that's applicable to any concept. So that's my my preferred way to learn something, and always use a project and get hands dirty with that. There are people who loves taking a crash course at the beginning and start building something, after learning that specific technology with this crash course. And there are people who loves, going through the traditional approach. Taking a long course, uh, practicing these concepts after every part of this tutorial, by small exercises. I don't know, it depends. That everyone has its own preferred way of learning. There are people who loves learning things from books. I tried this approach many times, and I'm still trying it. So I'm learning currently deep learning, and I'm using a book, so that I use it as a reference as well. So I'm not following things, by order, but just, every time I need something, I go back to this book and try to understand the concept in deep learning and try to apply it in the project I'm working on, right? And this is something very important. And another thing I did is documentation. So this is good too, because I'm not saying you document everything, but something important you learned today, you document it in form of bullet points. There's no need to write paragraphs about it, just bullet points. So let's say how loop works, something like that, or how to create a serializer in Django. Yes, so you go to Obsidian or Notion or your physical notebook, and you write down, what you have learned about serializers in Django, in concisely, in form of bullet points. That's enough. And then you get back to it. If you misunderstood something, if you want to build a serializer later, you get back to it without going back, to tutorial and waste a bit of time, right? So that's something very important. And another thing I'd like you guys to that would help you keep up the momentum is to join, groups on Slack, join groups on Discord, meetup.com. There you can find people. They organize meetings every week. So I know a group called San Diego Python Users Group, where yes, which I'm a member of years ago. And I joined this group while learning, coding in my lockdown, and I started attending their meetups, their online meetups every Saturday. So they are hosting group meetup where software engineers, data scientists from different levels meet together in a virtual meeting. They talk about programming, uh, everything related to Python. People who have questions, they can ask questions. People who have built something, they can share it in this meeting. If you get stuck on something, you can ask others in meeting to help you with that. There are very beautiful and informative folks out there, and I highly recommend to join this group. It's called San Diego Python Users Group. And there are a lot of groups out there if you are learning Python, or anything related to Python. But there are other meetups as well in meetup.com for other languages, for other technologies. So feel free to search for them. There are groups on Slack. And this is very important, because when you see people learning, building things with code, it motivates you every day to do the same as well and forget about your worries. That's very crucial for you guys to do. And then another thing, I hope that if you get the chance to show up in an event or on-site meeting, this is good too. So where you can organize a workshop or something like that, and someone like a party that organizes coding workshops, don't hesitate to show up there. No matter what level you are, just show up. Just show up, network with people, because you don't know what tomorrow can hold for you, right? If you network with someone, that means there is an opportunity, because networking is really important for us as developers. And it's really crucial for us in our journey to help ourselves, let's say, market uh, our skills, right? Because when you are in a workshop, you're gonna show up your skills, you're gonna show up your problem solving skills, you're gonna show up your journey, and you're gonna collaborate with others to build things with code. So there are a lot of things. So just guys, keep it up. Don't worry. So remove your worries, lie, and always keep in mind everything happens for a good reason. So you have no idea what tomorrow can hold for you. And when it comes to jobs, apply. If you are someone who Pythonista, let's say you are Django, Python, Fast API developer. If you are JavaScript, TypeScript developer who works with front-end frameworks, if you are a machine learning engineer, no matter what, just keep on applying for jobs that suits and matches your skills, right? If you find, a job posting that requires more than 5 years of experience and you have only 2 or 3 years, just apply. This is just a wish list, right? And this happens to me a lot. So when I apply for jobs that requires more than 5 years of experience and I only have 2 years of experience, not only professional experience, just years of learning, building project, and this is considered a year of experience as well because you experience code. And they don't mean here professional experience, but if the job requires professional experience, just keep on applying. It doesn't matter. So I get invited to interviews even if I don't meet their wish of years of experience. So it doesn't matter. Just apply and go with the interviews that suits you. So if you are someone who's learning, who has development skills with DevOps skills, and this job requires some DevOps technologies, apply for it. But if you find yourself someone who is learning, who is good at development, but he's not into DevOps, and you found a job that requires DevOps, I don't know, it depends to you. But for me, I prefer to don't apply for this job if I'm not skilled in something that this job posting focuses on, right? And because maybe I will get interviewed, and that happens to me. I get interviewed, and then I found myself that I need to prepare for things that I'm not into, right? And then when I'm asked during the interview, do you have experience with this? I said, and then when they try to ask me more deep questions about this, I could give some random, answers to these questions. Sometimes I could make it, sometimes not, but just apply to jobs that matches, let's say 90-80% of your skills, not necessarily 100%, but just 80 to 90% of your skills, and you have got nothing to lose, right? Keep on applying from time to time, find new ways to apply for jobs, not just applying to LinkedIn or Indeed. Send cold messages to CTOs, CEOs of companies, team leads, senior engineers, right? Show them your interest to join their company, and let them know that you are looking for a job and you want uh, to join their mission, right? So now ChatGPT can help you write a very good, or any AI tool can help you write a very good message, but don't depend too heavily on it. So keep your touch, keep your human touch there. So ChatGPT or any AI tool can give you just the shape of your message, but write your own words, right? Because for them, they receive more messages as well, written by AI tools. So you should add your own human touch there. And yes, so another thing, before I end up recording this video, I want you guys to don't depend too much on AI tools, please. AI won't replace us, okay? Keep that in mind. But as a developer, when you use an AI tool, try to use it effectively in a way that could improve your skills and your logic. So instead of telling ChatGPT or any AI tool how to build, or please help me, or please, let's say, help me build, an API endpoint, in Django, right? He will give you the answer and everything. You might put, okay, I'm working on this specific project and I want to create an API endpoint that does this specific thing and returns this specific Y and so on. You instead, before I say the instead thing, you might give a snippet of your code on things you are working on, your model, etc., right? So that AI tool will give you everything. So here, I don't like you to do this approach because it won't let you learn exactly how to build an API endpoint. Instead, try to ask this AI tool how to build an API endpoint with Django, this framework, Django in general. So here it will give you a general example on how to do this. So you're gonna take that example, you read it, you try to understand it, and then you will build something similar for your own project. So this is completely different than giving or asking ChatGPT or any AI tool the exact thing. But you will ask the exact thing, but the answer you will get will let you write your own answer in your code, right? And sometimes when you ask, this AI tool about an error you get stuck on and he solved it for you, try to read that code very carefully. Try to read the solution he gave very carefully before pasting it in your code. Don't copy and paste immediately. Just read it carefully, try to understand it, and I prefer to type that answer in your code without copying and pasting. Type it because that will help you understand it much more better than copying and pasting it. Right? So this is just from my 2 tips. I don't know what do you prefer, guys, but I prefer doing this with AI tools to don't lose my logic and programming skills, right? So that being said, I hope I can see you guys in another video later. Let me know if you like this idea of making videos that talks about some general things about programming, development, self-taught developer journey, and all these kind of things. So hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and bye.